So what do you do if you receive a collection letter like this? So this letter says that I owe $1,208.51. I received this collection letter yesterday and my first thought was, this can't be. I don't have any pending collections. And this is where collection agencies try to be slick, because the first reaction to anybody who cares about their credit is to contact the collection agency. Don't do that. Not just yet. Make sure you read your letter in its entirety. That falls into the no shit category, but it happens. People skimming through letters and bills, only reading the top line, overreacting, and letting emotions take over. And if your situation's like mine, where you're 99% sure you don't have any pending collections, you might see this. The law limits how long you can be sued for this debt. Because of the age of this debt, we will not sue you for it, and we will not report it to any credit reporting agency. This notice is required by law. What this is saying is that this collection is over 7 years old, and they can't legally do anything to collect this debt. They can't sue, they can't garnish wages, and most importantly, if you value your credit, they can't report this as a collection to your credit reports. So how and why did you receive this collection letter if this debt is over 7 years old? Throughout the life of this debt, it can be bought and sold multiple times. So for example, if you're still within that 7-year statute of limitations where they legally can collect and can enforce collections, you might get collection notices, you might get calls, you might get a lot of aggressiveness coming from this first collection agency. Letter after letter, phone call after phone call, trying to get you to pay this debt. So if they can't collect, let's say after a year, they bundle your debt along with other debt they couldn't collect on and sell for rock bottom prices. And that's where you see this old debt pop back up, and your debt is getting bought and sold, getting cheaper and cheaper each time they sell. Because if you didn't pay that first year, didn't pay that second year, now it's getting harder for these guys to collect. At this point, they're just trying to get anything back they can to recoup what they lost. So who would buy this debt that's virtually uncollectible, that you're not legally required to pay anymore? These companies are buying your debt bundled with other debt, only spending about a few bucks per account. This is where the law of percentages comes into play. They know they won't be able to collect on every account, but the ones they do, they're gonna score big. For example, they spend $2 on an account. The collection is for $1,000. You have people that are gonna pay it outright, the whole thing, not knowing they don't have to. They just made $998 profit. You have people that are gonna pay the settlement amount, not knowing they don't have to. Then you have the people that don't know what they're doing, don't have a plan, contact the collection agency and try to set up payment arrangements or give up a sob story why they can't pay. And that's what these vultures are counting on. Preying on the uninformed. Remember, you have consumer rights. I have everything you need to know about handling collections in my credit repair course. Link here. Contacting the collection agency without knowing what you're doing or what to say is the worst thing you can do, because you might inadvertently admit to this debt. And by admitting to this debt, guess what? You just restarted that 7-year clock all over again. And who cares, right? You didn't pay it then, you're not gonna pay it now. So what does it matter? Okay, I'll give you that. But now it can be re-reported to your credit reports. And that's the last thing you want, especially when it can be easily avoided. So if the collection is over 7 years old, do not contact the collection agency. You're legally in the clear no matter what that letter says. But what if you're within that 7-year time frame and you do owe this debt? Well, there's several options and several outcomes. The first thing you don't want to do is ignore it. You want to take this very seriously. Your credit score is just as important a number as your SSN. It's who you are. It's how these lending companies see you. Take your credit seriously and take this collection seriously. So I'm going to cut this into 2 parts because my analytics say that most of my viewers only watch about 2 to 3 minutes per video. And I feel like I've already gone way past that. Links in the description, and look out for part 2 where I cover what to do when you get sent a collection letter that you're legally liable to pay.